What the fuck was that? I yelled as loudly as I could. My voice cracked in a very manly way, I assure you. I was suddenly in the market for a new pair of pants, and the feeling of warmth in my trousers did little to comfort me. I was breathing heavy still. I felt my heart trying to escape out of my chest, and there was a burning sensation in my sides. But that didn't really occupy my focus. I was still staring at the psycho with the axe and the thing she hit. I couldn't say what it was, and by the look of the woman's face, neither could she. It's hard to describe even now. It looked like someone spilled blueberry jam all over the street. It was shiny and glistening, and if I had come across it in any other scenario, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. It covered part of my face, and I swear some of it got in my mouth. I can't describe how disgusting that felt. I worried for a moment I'd be stuck with a purple tongue for the rest of my life. I did have bigger problems, though. My usual policy of ignore it till it goes away had served me well, but I was staring death in the face right now. I looked down, then up at the woman, then down again. She wasn't trying to kill me anymore, so that was an improvement. I still didn't know what was going on, and we were both there, staring at a puddle of blue snot. What was that? I said, my voice quivering in a thoroughly manly way. I looked up at her and I saw that a tear was falling down her cheek. She smiled and dropped to her knees, looking at the goop, poking it with the axe, then letting it go. The axe clattered to the ground.
Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Yes, damn right!
She jumped better than I ever could. Hey! Hi! I said, my voice was returning to a more grating tone. She stopped. Master of tact, that's me. What was that? I pointed down at the blue booger. The woman stared at me and then stared at the spot.
What? It's a demon, a parasite.
What?
It's a...
Whoa. Wait, a demon? Like Lucifer or something?
Okay, I don't think so.
The woman stared at me for longer than any woman stared at me in the past year. It felt like she was clearly having a hard time not punching me in the face. A common problem, suffered by a lot of people.
I've seen them everywhere, in churches and hospitals, at work. I don't know what they are, but they're everywhere.
She stared at me, and for the first time I saw an emotion that wasn't blind indifference or rage.
When we were on the elevator, I saw it wrapped around you. I decided I couldn't let it in my home. I couldn't let...
I knew that look. It was the look of someone desperately trying not to cry. If I were a more sympathetic soul, I would have gotten up there and hugged her. As it was, my heart was still pounding. And she did have an axe close by. I decided to keep my distance.
I decided I couldn't let that thing keep doing what it was doing. Do you feel any different?
I opened my mouth at first to say something quippy, but then my brain kicked in, as it seldom seems to, and did an assessment. It's hard to say how I was feeling. My head was still soaked in adrenaline, and it was the second strangest experience of my life. But behind that I felt something else. Something hard to describe. At the time I thought it was a kind of lightness, like I got rid of a 50-pound bag that I didn't realize I was carrying. I felt a bit like I could jump from here to the top of the building if I wanted to. A later attempt revealed that not to be true, but still. I feel lighter, I said. I couldn't think of anything else to say and stood there uncharacteristically quiet. Honestly, this wasn't on my list of small talk topics. After an awkward pause, the woman extended a hand.
Maria.
She looked like she was about to say her last name, but then thought better of it. To be honest, I would have too. She couldn't be sure I wasn't going to call the cops on her still. I was thinking about it. I think I wasn't going to call. I was going to run, but she didn't know that. Zach, I said, finally lifting my hand to shake hers. Good Lord, she had a strong grip. It wasn't the kind of strength guys use to outdo each other. It was the kind of quiet, confident strength of someone with nothing to prove over the opponent. Don't you hate those people? Still hurt like hell. The moment of pain did rustle my brain to life about where I recognized her from. She looked nervous now, seeing that moment of recognition. So, thanks for, doing that, I said, looking at the pool again. I would have preferred you just, talk to me. But I got some cardio in, so my doctor thanks you. I was trying to make a joke. It didn't take. She just stared at me. Paranoia replaced by confusion. Well, confusion was better. Better than debating about hitting me with the axe again. Feeling a bit of a spring in my step, I got to my feet. I smiled. Anyway, if I see any more of these parasite things, I'll be sure to let you know. Thanks! I said with my winningest smile and then made my way down the alley, towards the street, where the public was. I could see the moon in the crisp evening air. For the first time, I felt like I could appreciate just how nice it could be out in a Midwestern summer night. I took a few steps out away from the alley where I had been. I did a few double takes back just to be sure that Maria, if that was her real name, wasn't following me to finish the job. It didn't seem like it. Another weight off my shoulders, at least for now. I walked down the street, for once not turning a critical eye towards the graffiti, or the signs of urban decay. It didn't bother me. That was strange. Normally, I just look at everything with a critical eye, dissecting all the failures on a state, individual, and federal level that led to the shithole I lived in. Or at least criticize the graffiti's clear lack of grammar and punctuation. It was part of my charm. Now I felt I could appreciate how, even in its downward spiral, there was a certain beauty to a dying city. The people in it having the choice before them, sort of, to stay and preserve something that was once great, or to leave, to go west where the unclaimed and open lands were, roll the dice. You could feel the depression, the desperation, the hope that came from cities like this. There were thousands of stories, people who would make it big, people who just wanted to get by, and people who just wanted to be forgotten by everyone, including time. You could sense the greater natural order of life and death, that this great giant creature had gone through its life, producing, consuming, living, as anyone else would. How it was cut down in its prime by forces beyond its control. That it was only held aloft now by a bloated military-industrial complex that was a temporary fix before the soft, quiet death that befell all cities. But that impermanence made it more beautiful. A sonnet with a beginning, middle, and an end. I remember as I got back to my apartment having a chilling realization. Oh, God, I've become poetic. Where are my high school bullies when I need them? That thought chilled me to my bone, and I went to bed, taking the stairs. I thought about how I used to write poetry when I was younger. Yes, I used to be the classic angsty teen. Writing helped when I was less popular, which was most of the time. I never showed it to anyone. Not Bill, not Sarah, though she actually did ask about it. My mind turned back to more immediate concerns, as I said hi to Miss Cadswell, even appreciating her love of animals and ignoring the smell of ammonia. I told her I thought those allergy pills she had given me were working. She showed me her latest kitten. It was cute, and only scratched me twice. A new record. I gave the little fluff ball back and said goodbye as I went to my apartment. I did make sure to lock the door, however, and I might have moved my dresser in front of it. I didn't know what to think about Maria, but I didn't want her to change her mind on the whole alive Zack versus dead Zack debate. I'll grant you I suspect she put more thought into my welfare than any other human being has in the past few months, including me. I stood in my second-hand apartment, looked at my second-hand things, and let out a contented sigh. I smiled and began to clean up my apartment. Even the unidentifiable masses in my kitchen didn't get me down. After I drenched them with bleach, anyway. I turned on my phone, a landline. Yeah, I know. It's old-fashioned, but it's so much easier to ignore calls when they aren't busily buzzing away in your pocket. I have a cell phone, but I never gave out the number to anyone apart from work. I thought about changing that. I listened to my messages. 3 of them were from my parents, 5 from a collections agency, 2 from friends, and the most recent one was from Sarah.
Zachary, it's Sarah. I need to visit my mother in the hospital. She's going downhill. Is there any chance you can watch Tori this Saturday? I'd really appreciate it.
I stared at my landline for a long while. I was excited at the prospect of seeing Tori. More excited than I had been about anything in a long time. I dialed Sarah back. Hey, Sarah, it's Zach.
I know who it is, Zachary. I need to know.
No, sure, I'll watch her. It's been a while since I've seen her. How's she doing in pre-K?
Oh, good. They're reviewing her to see if she's ready for kindergarten.
Hopefully she takes after you. I think I'm still not ready for kindergarten.
Does the military know that?
Please, I'm high functioning. Anyway, Saturday afternoon? Around 5?
Yeah. Are you feeling all right?
Pretty good, actually, yeah.
Did you meet someone?
I guess you could say that.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I'll see you in 2 days, right?
Uh-huh.
Give Tori my love.
That's nice. Goodbye, Zachary.
She seemed confused. I wasn't exactly acting normal. I hadn't been the best father, or the best ex, or the best anything, for that matter. Even so, Tori was a good kid. She took after her mother, clearly. She's probably the calmest and most peaceful kid I've ever met. Usually when you meet a kid, they're completely out of control, you know? Not Tori. She almost never cried when she was a baby. And now that she's gotten older, she's always very calm and clear about what she wants. It's a little scary, really. I think my 4-year-old might have more emotional maturity than me. I mean, if someone took my toy, I'd be very displeased. She's a good kid. I loved her. Even if it hurt, too. I could try to be a father again. With my mood as it was, I felt like I could try anything again. I couldn't place it, but it felt like there was a great weight that had been lifted off my shoulders. I felt like I could handle life again, for the first time since Bill passed. I ignored all the implications of the thing that was attached to me. It's probably why I didn't call the police. I brushed my teeth and even showered before going to bed. I was unaware of how crappy the next day would be. I woke up early and almost bounced out of bed. I moved to brush my teeth and shower, something I was certain my coworkers would appreciate. It does wonders for your social life when you don't have actual stink lines coming off of your body. I ate my breakfast and in record time made it out the door and on my way to work. I didn't see Maria when I left, which was probably just as well. Honestly, the whole affair was more or less erased from my mind. It felt like an odd dream. I know that sounds weird, but it was really the furthest thing from my mind. It felt like I could get on with the rest of my life. I went to work with a freaking skip in my step and made my way into the compound. I entered my passcode, showed my badge to the faceless guard, and then went on my merry way inside. I walked past the security guard with the snake coming out of his head, and then moved towards the area where my office was. I nodded towards Clem, the sanitation specialist who had a pulsing green mass protruding from his stomach. I sat down at my desk, appreciating the view of Carol, one of my coworkers, who seemed to have something lodged under her skirt, and a snake that was bluish, with see-through fangs lodged into her skin. It was at that point I realized something was very, very wrong. This was Chapter 3 of Broken Idols, written by Michael Burns. Zach, played by Michael Burns. Maria, played by Annie Hu. Find out more about her at anniehufilms.com. Sarah, played by Esther Morris. Logo by Cole Carnevale. Music found from bensound.com and Kevin MacLeod. Thanks for listening, and until next time, remember, swearing loudly into a microphone is a great way to make friends.